Bonjour à tous, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In my vlog, this time I'm taking you underground, literally. So we are exploring Les Catacombes de Paris, the mysterious eerie tunnels beneath the city of light that hold the remains of over 6 million people. Just for your information, the ticket cost me €31. And there are 131 steps that you need to climb down before getting into this tunnel.
The tour is just under 1 kilometer and lasts around an hour. You will exit onto Avenue. To start the tour, simply scan the ticket at the turnstile.
This is the device that everyone will get before entering the tunnel, and you have to listen to it to get the information.
Parisians started to witness spectacular building collapses. Land, houses, and entire streets were swallowed up. The very foundations of Paris were sinking, and instances of subsidence were just beginning. Parisians panicked. King Louis XVI decided to put a stop to underground mining in Paris and set up l'inspection générale, the Inspectorate General of Mines, headed by the architect Charles Axel. He is now regarded as the man who saved Paris. The very day he was appointed, on the 17th of December 1717, 300 meters.
So let's go through the maze of bones, tunnels and stories from the past, and we'll see just how creepy and or fascinating this place really is. So buckle up guys, because things are about to get dark. This place started as limestone quarry back in Roman times, but by the 18th century, Paris was facing a serious problem of overcrowded cemeteries. The solution? Move the bones underground. Between 1786 and the mid-1800s, millions of skeletons were transferred here. Today, you can visit about 1.5 kilometers of it, but the full network stretches over 300 kilometers beneath the city.
The initial purpose carried out the year. For example, 5J 1847 means that the wall is to be built under the authority of Parisians de 1847. Let's walk on further.
Once you're down here, it's like stepping into another world. It's dim, silent, and filled with echoes. Everything is stone, damp, and tightly packed. It's definitely not for the claustrophobic.
When you turn into the long gallery that bears this name, you observe that it is longer than the audience. In several places, you will also be able to make out a black.
Guys, before we hit the Ossuary, there's a lot of tunnel to walk through. These were old mining quarries, and you can see the initials and dates carved into the stone from centuries ago. Like this one. Some of the tunnels have reinforcement beams. Others are carved with religious symbols or old street names. As I mentioned before, it's definitely not for the claustrophobic and those with anxiety. It's really dark here. The lights here are really helpful. these tunnels literally run beneath the Parisian neighborhoods. There's an emergency exit over here. I don't know how long I've been walking to, and I don't know how far are we to the Ossuary. I'm just going with the flow. If you are not fit to walk this far, you might be slowing others down too, so you have to think twice before deciding to purchase your ticket into this tunnel. Okay, that's another listening symbol, which means we have to get the device ready to listen to the information.
First, the stabilization work its purpose was to supply users with water features and engines, as well as its gallery also. Straight various lots of it has since been as you can see, each stone wall has rubble piled behind it. You will find the same system.
There was a monitor that displayed the process of how they were carrying the bones and all the stones into the underground tunnel. Considering it was only the 18th century and they already have such technology, so it's amazing to see, to be honest. Here we have to be careful because there's water dripping from above, from the ceiling, making this place damp and can be slippery. You can see traces of water on the ground, so you need a very good shoes to walk through this tunnel. I thought the queue earlier means we are already getting into the ossuary, but no, there's another tunnel to go through, but looks like that's the entrance to the ossuary. Bonjour. Oui. No. We were stopped by the guards to make sure that we all wear our backpacks in front to avoid pickpockets.
Furthermore, the royal decree is issued requiring cemeteries to be out of the city. This gave rise to the idea of used underground quarries outside the city. Thus, Paris also was Very also joins inside places of worship and cemeteries to approach. Individual graves were preserved themselves. Most corpses were buried in mass graves. To deal with the problem,
Everyone hangs around here a little longer because there's so much to read and to listen to before we get into the actual ossuary.
workers are busy raising food, while others are loading bones into a cart in front of the procession where you stand between the black and white buildings and the side of the door. You will see the words Hold. This is the Empire.
Arrête, c'est ici l'Empire de la Mort, which means stop, this is the Empire of the Dead, and that's what the sign says. And yeah, this is where things get real.
It is the first of several quotations that have been displayed throughout the Ossuary since it opened to the public in 1809.
The ossuary is what most people come to see, carefully arranged bones and skulls stacked in patterns. We are hanging around here for a while just to listen to the information and to take photographs as we head through the queue to get into the ossuary.
You will enter an area containing the bones of several young men, women, and children. You will have the opportunity to look at this special fragile place. You will be in direct contact with real remains. Everyone who enters here has a duty of care and respect towards this heritage to let them pass to future generations. Please remember that you must not touch the bones. Do not carry your rucksack on your back and be careful as you move around to avoid causing.
Here's another piece of information before we get in. It's nicely framed, and this place is well lit. considering we are all underground. Well, they look like as if they are some sort of decorations, almost artistic. Which is eerie when you remember these were once real people, just like us. On the wall, there are carvings of information or plaques that mention when these bones were taken into the catacomb, and most of it says that it was in the year 1859. Look closely and you find poetry engraved into the walls. It's surprisingly peaceful down here. Not scary exactly, but very, very humbling. You think about how short life is. How many people have come and gone in this city? I also heard that there's a secret concert hall somewhere deep in the catacomb. In 1793, there was a man named Philibert Asper. He got lost in this catacomb and he wasn't found until 11 years later. I am not surprised knowing that this tunnel is actually 300 kilometers long.
The well that you see in this small circular area is called the Samaritan Woman's Fountain, in reference to a Christian Bible story. In this passage, Jesus speaks of the Samaritan well. He asks her for water. He tells her the words that can just be made out of the pillar at the top of the steps on the left. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty, but whoever drinks the water I shall give will never thirst. Collect water from the ground to reduce dampness. The fountain can be used for a scientific experiment.
So this is the well of the Samaritan. It's one of the several underground wells used when this was an active quarry. Some explorers claim there's an underground lake connected to it, although it's not accessible through official paths. And look, there's a legend about divers who entered this underground lake and never came back. Whether it's true or not, hard to say, but it adds to the mystery. Most of these remains came from major cemeteries like Les Innocents, Montmartre, and Saint-Nicolas-des-Champs. The transfers happened mostly at night, Priests even conducted mass as the carts rolled through the streets. If you look from a different perspective, it's actually beautiful in a dark, poetic way. Skulls and bones are arranged in patterns, crosses, columns, even hearts. This wasn't random, actually. The bones were stacked artistically by Louis-Étienne Erika de Toury in the early 1800s. He wanted the catacombs to feel like a kind of underground mausoleum, not just a dumping ground. These are femurs and skulls mainly. Other bones are piled in the back, unseen. So what you see is just the outer layer.
Laurent Church. It refers to the last large-scale transfer of bones to the catacombs. It has to do with one of the deadliest episodes of Paris. Revolutionaries calling themselves Command Old Federates. The violence of this period left a deep impression on people's minds. Originally, the slab was deposited as a sign of peace. Traces of these changes can still be seen today. The slab is also engraved with a Latin and a Latin abbreviation Dis Animis, meaning literally to the manes, the spirits of ancestors according to the Roman. Well, to bear witness to some of the protests that took place just during the French Revolution around 1789. Within these walls lie the bones of famous revolutionary figures such as Robespierre, Danton, and Vingt. On the 28th and 29th of August 1788, violent fighting broke out following the resignation of King Louis XVI, finance minister. The bodies of the workers, bourgeois, and guards killed during the fighting were brought from the Place de Paris, now the Place de Paris, and the Rue Saint-Louis to the catacombs. This was the first time the catacombs were used as a burial ground directly after death. Unlike the other remains here, these bodies had not been moved from another cemetery. This was also the case the following spring, in the aftermath of the Réveillon riot, in which the wall were displayed in the catacombs for 5 days to allow their families to identify them and then bury on the spot. Then, on the 10th of August 1792, Almost 1,000 people were killed in the fighting at the Tuileries in Paris. Among the victims were several hundred Swiss guards, some of whom were also buried in the catacombs.
As I mentioned before on the history of these catacomb, it was in the late 1700s when Paris was in crisis. Cemeteries were overflowing. The most notorious, the Cemetery of the Innocents, was literally bursting with bodies exposed and disease spreading. So the city started moving the dead into old limestone quarries beneath Paris. It actually started in 1786 and continued for nearly a century. That's how this underground necropolis began. What blows my mind is this. Beneath modern cafes and traffic lights, beautiful monuments is a forgotten city of the dead. Back in 1787, as I read, there was a full concert held right here in the catacomb among the bones. So imagine this, musicians performing while surrounded by stacks of human remains. The story goes that a group of aristocrats and musicians obsessed with death, the occult, and romanticism organized a private concert in the Ossuary. They played solemn classical pieces, including works by Mozart, whose own requiem would become symbolic of death itself. And this was just 1 year before the French Revolution. Some historians see this as a symbol of how obsessed the elite had become with death, while ignoring the social crisis above ground. Oh wow, look at the arrangement of the bones around the pillar. It's so unique. Anyway, still about the concert. Just picture it. A string quartet, maybe candles flickering, and an audience dressed in 18th century finery, all surrounded by the dead. Paris really knows how to blend the elegant and the eerie. So this is it. This is where the concert was held.
On the 2nd of April, 1897, between midnight and 2 a.m., an incredible legal concert was held here. 100 people were invited to attend the event in this crypt, which was larger in those days. Guests received the following invitation. You are invited to attend a lively, secular concert to be held on Friday the 2nd of April, 1897, in the Ossuary of the Catacombs of Paris, where very eminent musicians will be performed. Please note, entry via Rue Darry 96 11 p.m. To avoid any curious onlookers, please do not order cabs to stop in front of the door. This is a personal invitation. A journalist from Le Figaro, who was invited, described the event. We found several of her colleagues who had arrived a few moments earlier, seated on humble straw chairs. The catacombs are definitely the last place where people talk. While waiting for the concert to start, Professor Poirier, holding a superb skull in his hand, enchanted the audience with an admirable lecture on craniology. 100 people in all, including a few intrepid ladies. The clandestine concert was organized by a group of young people who thought it would be amusing. The quarry engineer they knew promised to look the other way. At midnight, an orchestra of 45 musicians began the candidate concert amidst the skulls and shin bones. The fitting program included a funeral march by Frédéric Chopin, Danse macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns, a funeral march from Beethoven's Heroics.
Some say the sounds of that concert echoed through the tunnels long after the musicians left. And some explorers claim that if you are deep enough in the forbidden zones, you can still hear music in the dark, and that's really creepy. Okay, so as we are nearing the exit, there's something a lot of visitors miss. There's a tunnel in the ceiling. It's small, maybe half a meter wide, and completely sealed off to the public. That tunnel is a ventilation shaft or old access passage that connects to the broader network of catacombs, the illegal zones. Here, this is it. Okay, so here goes the 151 steps. We are climbing what feels like an endless staircase out of the catacombs. It's like the final test before they let you out. My legs are definitely feeling it, but honestly, it's totally worth it. Would you consider coming here for a visit, or it's too scary for you? Let me know in the comments, okay? Merci. Okay, so we are finally out, back to the land of the living. We had to return the device, and also they had to check our bag just in case we took something that's not ours from the ossuary. That was honestly one of the most unique experiences I've had in Paris. So right now I am in a little souvenir shop of Les Catacombes de Paris. They've got some really creative catacomb themed stuff. They have t-shirts, tote bags, books, skull-shaped scissors, keychains, pens, fridge magnets. It's giving gothic stationery realness. Alright, we've officially made it back to the surface. That was slightly intense in the best way. If you're into history, mystery, or just want something different than your typical Paris attractions, the catacombs are a must. It's very accessible by public transportation. You can take the metro, the train, but I came here by metro, and the station that you need to stop at should be Denfert Rochereau station. It's served by line number 4 and line number 6. Les Catacombes de Paris is located in the 14th arrondissement of Paris. And then, as mentioned before, the ticket costs €31 and it's open to public every Tuesday until Sunday. So it's closed on Mondays. When you book the ticket online, you are able to reserve your timing slot, and it's better if you can reserve the morning slot. It will be less crowded. So I think they have limitations on how many people can go in at one time. Alright everyone, thanks so much for joining me on this underground adventure. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next stop on this journey through Paris and beyond. Drop a comment below if you ever visited the catacomb or if you dare to, and let me know what creeps you out the most, okay? Until next time, stay curious, stay respectful, à bientôt!